The heart sometimes perceives what the eyes cannot, yet the wallet registers what the heart deliberately overlooks. That sentiment encapsulates my entire journey. What I am about to recount transpired over a span of 6 years, and I am still navigating its aftermath even today. If you appreciate our content, please subscribe and share your location in the comments. Your engagement fuels the continuation of these genuine narratives. My name is Austin, and this is my account involving 2 women from Thailand. Not concurrently, of course, but close enough to leave my mind in a state of disarray for years. I was employed in the oil and gas sector in Austin, Texas, earning a comfortable salary and residing in an attractive home in Westlake Hills, but I was utterly exhausted. At 43 years old, divorced twice, and completely disillusioned with American women. My first wife claimed half of my savings when I was 30. My second wife, well, she took the remaining half when I reached 40. When factoring in legal expenses, alimony, and the division of assets, I was financially depleted by close to $400,000. That is a significant sum, ladies and gentlemen. I vividly recall sitting in my vacant house after the second divorce, staring at the mortgage documents I was compelled to sign anew for a property I'd already fully paid for once. The bitterness was consuming me entirely. My friend Jake had been extolling the virtues of Thailand for months. His Thai wife appeared to be a different kind of partner. She was respectful, caring, and not perpetually seeking more material possessions. One evening over drinks, he extended an offer that I found impossible to decline. He invited me to accompany them to Thailand the following month, mentioning his wife's friend in Chiang Rai, framing it as purely a vacation. He suggested it would help clear my head. I reasoned, why not? I had never visited Asia, and I desperately needed an escape from Texas and everything that served as a reminder of my personal failures. However, I had absolutely no inkling of what awaited me. The aircraft landed in Bangkok at 2 in the morning. The atmosphere was thick with humidity, akin to stepping into a sauna fully dressed. I had experienced Houston summers, but this was an entirely different sensation. Jake's wife, Nim, had arranged for her friend to meet us at the airport. I had seen photographs of her. Her name was Molly, which translates to Jasmine in Thai. She possessed a pleasant appearance, but I tempered my expectations. Upon spotting her holding a handwritten sign, something within me shifted. Molly was not conventionally stunning, but she had an authentic smile that radiated warmth. She appeared to be in her mid-30s, professionally dressed, and spoke English with a noticeable accent, yet with palpable eagerness. "Welcome to Thailand, Austin. Very happy to meet you." That initial evening in Bangkok, we ventured to a popular tourist locale near the river. Molly remained by my side, diligently translating everything and ensuring I was not overcharged by vendors. She requested nothing for herself, no drinks, no food, absolutely nothing. The following day, we took a bus to Chiang Rai. The journey spanned 6 hours, winding through picturesque mountains and rice paddies that resembled scenes from a motion picture. Molly drifted off to sleep with her head resting on my shoulder as we passed through an area near Lang. I found myself observing her slumber and reflecting, when was the last time I experienced such tranquility? Little did I know, this newfound peace would come at a profound cost. Molly was employed at a resort situated outside Chiang Rai, managing reservations and excursions. She maintained her own modest apartment, lived independently, and possessed her own financial resources. This was not a woman seeking escape through me, or so I believed. For 2 weeks, we were inseparable. She introduced me to temples not featured in guidebooks, guided me to local markets where I was the sole foreigner, and presented me to her acquaintances as if I held particular significance. Molly demonstrated a level of attentiveness I had almost forgotten was possible. She would rise early to prepare my coffee exactly to my liking. She would offer shoulder massages after long days of exploration. She never once alluded to money or the expectation of gifts. Our physical intimacy was exceptional, but it was more than that. She listened attentively as I discussed my business-related anxieties, the acrimony of my divorces, and my weariness with the American dating scene. She would hold my hand and say, "In Thailand, we cherish men who cherish us." When the time arrived for my departure back to Austin, I experienced a profound sense of unease. At the airport, Molly shed genuine tears. There was no pretense, no dramatic display. It was authentic sadness that caused a tightness in my chest. I will miss you already, Austin. You are a good man. You make me feel special. During the 15-hour flight home, her presence was a constant thought. I should have recognised that this growing infatuation would ultimately lead to my undoing. Upon my return to Austin, everything felt desaturated and devoid of meaning. My oil and gas consulting enterprise was performing adequately, but my personal motivation had waned considerably. I was generating substantial income, yet I possessed no desire to spend it on anything other than communicating with Molly. We conversed daily via Skype. Do you recall when that was the primary method for international video calls? The significant time difference meant I was staying awake until 2 in the morning Texas time to connect with her during her morning hours in Thailand. I was utterly captivated. She would share details of her day, inquire about mine, and send me photographs of meals she was preparing or places she had visited, always exuding cheerfulness and genuine interest in my life. After 6 weeks of this agonising routine, I booked another flight to Thailand. My application for a tourist visa was denied on 2 occasions. The United States Embassy in Bangkok essentially informed me that Molly's approval would only be feasible if we were married. I stood in that embassy waiting area, my shirt drenched in sweat, contemplating my 2 failed marriages and the substantial financial losses I had incurred. Every rational thought was screaming at me, "Do not proceed." However, when I observed Molly's disappointed expression, all reason dissolved. "Let us get married," I declared, "here in Thailand, and then we can apply for a spousal visa." Molly was overcome with emotion, bursting into tears and embracing me tightly. The entire waiting room was observing us, but I was indifferent. For the first time in years, I felt as though I was bringing genuine happiness to another person. We solemnised our union 3 days later at a district office in Chiang Rai. There was no elaborate ceremony, no festive community gathering, merely the completion of paperwork and a few photographs. Molly wore a simple white dress purchased from a local market. The spousal visa received approval within 2 months. I returned to Thailand to escort her back, and we came back to Austin together as husband and wife. Those initial months in Texas were nothing short of idyllic. Molly was enthralled by everything. The supermarkets, the extensive highway systems, the functioning air conditioning. She would prepare Thai cuisine that filled my home with the aromas of lemongrass and chilies. She would massage my back while I worked on my laptop. I experienced a level of happiness I hadn't felt since my 20s. However, happiness derived from marriages involving Thai partners often carries an unstated cost. Approximately 6 months into Molly's residency in Austin, a subtle shift began to occur, which soon became impossible to ignore. She obtained her driver's license and started frequenting a Thai grocery store in North Austin. It was there that she encountered other Thai women married to American men. Upon returning from these shopping excursions, she exhibited a change in demeanour, becoming more demanding and less appreciative. She would say things like, "Why, we have a bigger house now. Linda's husband bought her a BMW. Tommy's wife receives jewellery every month." I attempted to explain that I was still recovering financially from my previous divorces and that we needed to be judicious with our money. Molly would nod as if she understood, but her complaints persisted. Subsequently, she began discussing the idea of establishing a massage business. I possessed vacant commercial space in a building I owned, so I thought it a reasonable idea to provide her with an occupation and enable her to generate her own income. Initially, the business experienced slow growth, perhaps generating $300 to $400 weekly. Molly seemed content with simply being occupied and having an independent income. However, a transformation occurred. Around the 8th month, she was suddenly bringing home $1,500 to $2,000 per week. When I inquired about the reason for the dramatic increase in business, she became defensive. She stated, "I am a very good massage therapist. Word of mouth. Why do you not trust me?" I desperately wanted to believe her. I truly did. However, the financial figures did not align, nor did her explanations. With Molly now earning a substantial income from her massage enterprise, I anticipated she would exhibit greater independence and contentment. Instead, Her demands escalated to an unprecedented degree. She would frequently say, "I need $5,000 to send to my mother. She is ill. I want to purchase gold jewellery. In Thailand, a husband always buys gold for his wife. My cousin requires financial assistance for her education. We are family. We assist family." Each week presented a new urgent need, a novel cultural obligation, or another justification for me to disperse funds. When I requested further details or suggested we establish a budget for these expenditures, Molly would become irate. She would exclaim, "You do not understand Thai culture. You are stingy. What is the value of an American husband if he does not support his wife's family?" I yielded more often than I should have. $1,000 here, $2,000 there. It proved simpler than engaging in conflict. Then came the startling revelation. Molly announced that she had purchased land in Thailand. She had not consulted me about it, nor had we discussed it. She had simply proceeded with the acquisition. She stated, "I have bought beautiful land near Chiang Rai, 2 million baht. It is a very good investment." 2 million baht represented approximately $60,000 at that time. She had already made a deposit of 600,000 baht, utilising funds from her massage business and the money she had been extracting from me. She then declared, "I need you to help pay the remainder. We are married, so this land is ours together." I refused. This led to an intense argument that spanned 3 days. Ultimately, I consented to contribute $10,000 solely to end the protracted disagreement, but I stipulated that she would be responsible for the remaining balance herself. What I was unaware of at the time was that this land purchase was merely the initial phase of her meticulously crafted plan. Approximately 2 years into our marriage, Molly began socialising with her Thai girlfriends. She referred to these outings as girls' nights. Every Friday and occasionally on Saturdays as well, she would return home at 3 in the morning, either intoxicated or, in some instances, not returning at all. She would claim, "I am too drunk to drive, I will stay with Ploy tonight, I will come home tomorrow morning." This pattern began occurring 2 to 3 times per month. I found it disagreeable, but I rationalised that American women also went out with their friends. Perhaps this was simply Molly's adaptation to American social customs. However, something felt amiss. When I inquired about their destinations, Molly was consistently evasive, offering vague responses such as, "Just a bar downtown, you know the place, what bar? A Thai bar, you know, it is too loud for you." I commenced my own discreet inquiries. I discreetly questioned individuals within the Thai community and accessed her social media accounts when she inadvertently left her phone unlocked. The information I uncovered sent a chill down my spine. Molly was not merely visiting Thai establishments, she frequented a downtown nightclub renowned for, let's say, international rendezvous. Her social media displayed her surrounded by young men from the Middle East, all appearing quite intimate. The woman I had wedded was leading a clandestine existence and I was financially supporting both facets of it. One evening, while Molly was out enjoying a night with friends, I resolved to delve into her massage business's financial records. She maintained ledgers in Thai, a language I couldn't comprehend, but numerical figures are universally understood. The discoveries were startling. Molly was generating between $3,000 and $4,000 weekly, a far cry from the $1,500 she had reported. Examining her appointment logs, I noted she was seeing clients well past midnight on certain nights. I confronted her the following afternoon when she returned home, appearing unwell and defensive. "Your business seems to be flourishing, significantly better than you disclosed. Why are you scrutinising my private affairs? You know, trust your wife, Molly. Massage therapists typically do not work until midnight. What precisely do you offer your clientele?" That's when she erupted. She began shouting in Thai, hurling objects and accusing me of being a controlling American husband who lacked understanding of Thai customs. Amidst her tirade, she uttered something that sent a chill down my spine. "You believe you're so astute? I earn more in a single week than you do in an entire month, and I pay no taxes to the government." There it was. She wasn't just operating a full-service massage establishment. She was boasting about tax evasion. I had been covertly recording our discussions for several weeks, concerned by her escalating erratic behaviour, This confession was now captured on digital audio. I finally possessed the necessary evidence, but its utilisation would dismantle everything. Early in our relationship, when Molly had nothing to conceal, she had granted me access to her Facebook and Instagram accounts. She had neglected to revoke this permission. While she was away on another weekend excursion, I decided to investigate her social media activities more thoroughly. What I unearthed was more disturbing than I had anticipated. Images from nightclub restrooms featured young men who appeared to be no older than 25. Flirtatious Thai messages, which I had translated, and check-ins at unfamiliar hotels. However, the most distressing discovery was the photographs she had posted of our property in Thailand. She was pictured with official-looking documents, celebrating with champagne. The accompanying captions, when translated from Thai, revealed a devastating truth. She had transferred ownership of the land from her name to her adult sons. The land we had jointly acquired, to which I had contributed $10,000, was no longer even registered in her name. Molly had meticulously concealed our shared asset to prevent me from asserting any claim to ownership in the event of a divorce. This transcended mere infidelity or tax evasion. It was deliberate financial deception. I recognised that I was not married to the woman I believed I knew, but to a complete stranger. For the subsequent months, I maintained a facade of normalcy while secretly preparing for a confrontation. Molly continued her weekend disappearances, her untaxed massage operation, and her demands for money, completely oblivious that I was building a legal case against her. I sought counsel from a divorce attorney in Austin who specialised in international marriages. He cautioned me that Texas community property law could potentially grant Molly half of everything I had accumulated during our marriage, including my business assets. However, he also informed me that evidence of adultery and financial misconduct could fundamentally alter the proceedings. I began meticulously documenting every detail: screenshots of her social media posts, copies of her financial ledgers, the audio recording of her tax evasion confession, and photographs of the land transfer documentation. I also investigated Thai divorce law and uncovered a significant advantage. Thailand offered more favourable divorce proceedings for men than Texas. Property owned prior to the marriage remained with the original owner, and adultery constituted grounds for divorce without any financial settlement. The strategy gradually took shape. I would initiate divorce proceedings against Molly in Thailand, where I had proof of her infidelity and where the legal framework protected my premarital assets. First, however, I needed to remove her from my home and my business without provoking fabricated accusations of domestic violence. The ultimate confrontation was imminent, and only one of us would emerge unscathed. It occurred on a Sunday morning in March. Molly had been absent all weekend, a girls' night that extended for 2 full days. She returned Sunday afternoon, dishevelled and hostile. I had spent the weekend boxing up all her possessions and relocating them to the garage, had the house locks changed and installed surveillance cameras in the driveway and around the property. Upon pulling into the driveway and observing her belongings, Molly lost her composure. "What is this? What are you doing?" "You're moving out, Molly, today." She began screaming, interspersing English with Thai expletives I had become familiar with over the years. Then she did something I had hoped to avoid. She lunged at me. Her fist connected with my jaw, but I simply gestured towards the camera mounted on the garage. "That's assault, Molly, captured on video. Do you want me to contact the authorities?" Her face turned ashen. She grabbed her boxes, loaded them into her car, hurling curses at me in 3 different languages, but this was merely the opening manoeuvre. The true conflict was about to commence. The ensuing events would determine my financial survival within this marriage. The following day, Molly contacted me, her tone oscillating between fury and feigned distress. "Austin, darling, why would you do this? We can fix this. I'll change. I'll be a good wife again." When that tactic failed, she shifted her approach. "You want a divorce? Fine, but you will cover all expenses. You will fly me to Thailand, pay for my hotel, compensate me for my troubles, and I will retain half of the business. Texas law dictates that I am entitled to half of everything." I had been preparing for this very conversation for months. "Molly, I will not be paying you anything. If you wish to pursue this in Texas family court, so be it. However, I will be compelled to submit your financial records to the IRS and the police." A silence ensued on her end. "What do you mean?" "I mean your confession regarding the non-declaration of income from your massage business. That constitutes a federal offence, Molly. It could jeopardise your immigration status. You know, I have proof. I have an audio recording, and if you attempt to claim half of my business assets, I will contest for half of that land in Thailand. I possess copies of the original purchase agreements and the transfer documents where you attempted to conceal it." Another protracted silence. "You absolute bastard! You evil man!" "Perhaps, but I am not foolish. You can accept what you have already obtained from me over the past 3 years and depart. Alternatively, you can engage in a dispute and risk forfeiting everything, including your right to remain in America." The gamble paid off, but the repercussions were more profound than I had anticipated. 3 weeks later, I found myself in a family court in Chiang Rai, consumed by nerves, yet resolute in finalising matters properly. My Thai attorney, a sharp and capable woman named Seraporn, had meticulously prepared all the necessary documentation. The divorce petition cited Molly's infidelity and her disrespectful conduct towards her husband, both recognised grounds for divorce under Thai law. Molly failed to appear in court. Despite being officially notified through the Thai embassy in Austin, she opted to remain in Texas rather than face the proceedings in Thailand. The judge, an elderly Thai gentleman who appeared to have witnessed every conceivable form of marital discord, reviewed the evidence, the translated audio recording, the social media photographs, and the financial documents. His expression conveyed a clear message. Even without understanding Thai, I could discern his palpable disdain. The divorce was granted in her absence. Molly was ordered to contribute half of my legal expenses, approximately $1,500, which I knew I would likely never receive. However, I was liberated. Walking out of that courthouse, I felt an unprecedented lightness. The entire process had cost me approximately $3,000 in legal fees, a mere fraction of what a divorce in Texas would have entailed. Yet my narrative was far from complete. In fact, the most peculiar chapter was just beginning. I was scheduled to fly back to Austin the following day, but an inexplicable compulsion kept me in Chiang Rai for an additional week. Perhaps I needed time to process the recent events, or perhaps I was not yet ready to return to my solitary residence in Texas. My lawyer's assistant, a woman named Nan, offered to guide me through the city during my extended stay. She was a stark contrast to Molly, quieter, more introspective, with melancholic eyes that piqued my curiosity about her life story. Nan had been married to a Thai man who had abandoned her and their 2 young children 3 years prior. She was working 2 jobs to support her children and her elderly parents, struggling to make ends meet. We spent countless hours conversing in coffee shops across Chiang Rai. She shared her hardships, her aspirations for her children's education, and her anxieties about the future. I found myself inclined to assist her, while also genuinely enjoying her company. Unlike Molly, Nan never requested anything. When I offered to treat her to dinner, she insisted on a modest establishment. When I suggested purchasing gifts for her children, she stated they already possessed all they needed. On my final evening in Thailand, I made a decision that, in retrospect, should have instilled more apprehension than it did. "Nan, would you consider coming to America? I mean, we could get to know each other better, see if there's something genuine between us." Her eyes welled up with tears. "Austin, you're a very kind man, but I know I cannot come to America for the wrong reasons. I have children. I have responsibilities here." That response revealed everything I needed to know about the fundamental difference between Molly and Nan. I returned to Austin, but Nan and I maintained daily contact. Unlike my interactions with Molly, these conversations felt authentic and uninhibited. Nan would update me on her children's academic challenges, her mother's health concerns, and her difficulties at work. I began sending her modest sums of money, not out of obligation, but from a genuine desire to help. $200 here, $300 there, just enough to alleviate her burdens without fostering reliance. Over the subsequent 8 months, I journeyed to Thailand on 3 more occasions. Each visit lasted for 2 weeks, and my bond with Nan deepened. She introduced me to her children, who were reserved but well-mannered. Her parents welcomed me into their modest home with sincere warmth. What truly impressed me was Naran's character. She would collect leftover food from restaurants to distribute to the homeless on the streets. She dedicated a portion of the funds I sent to assist her neighbours with their medical expenses or their children's educational costs. This woman possessed very little, yet she generously shared whatever she had. After a year of courtship, I proposed not on a whim as I had with Molly, but after months of genuinely understanding who Nan truly was. "I wish to marry you," I told her during my 4th visit. "Not for immigration purposes or because I am alone. I love who you are, wholeheartedly." This time, I believed I had learned from my past errors. This time, I was certain I was on the right path. Naran and I exchanged vows in a small ceremony at the very same municipal office where I had married Molly 2 years prior. The irony was not lost on me, yet this felt entirely different. Naran's family was present. Her parents, her children, her sisters, they treated me as one of their own from the outset, not as a source of financial support. The spouse visa application proceeded without a hitch. Within 3 months, Nan and her children were residing with me in Austin. The period of adjustment was more challenging this time due to the children's presence, but it was also more fulfilling. Witnessing Naran explore American grocery stores with her children brought immense joy. Seeing her children experience snowfall for the first time felt as though I were bestowing upon them something extraordinary. Nan secured employment at a Thai eatery in Austin. She had no financial need to work. I could comfortably provide for the family, but she desired to contribute. She would return home weary from serving tables, yet she would still prepare dinner for all of us and assist her children with their homework. For 2 years, everything felt idyllic. We were a genuine family. Nan never requested money, never demanded extravagant presents, and never complained about our way of life. However, perfection in Thai marriages, I was beginning to grasp, is frequently transient. The shift commenced in the 3rd year of our marriage. It was subtle at first, reminiscent of my experience with Molly, but it followed a disturbingly familiar trajectory. Naran began spending more time with other Thai women in Austin. She would return from their gatherings with new perspectives on what American husbands ought to provide. "Austin, perhaps we should acquire a larger residence. The children require more space. Linda's husband gifted her a new automobile. Perhaps I should enhance my driving skills and obtain a more capable vehicle as well." The solicitations were less forceful than Molly's demands, but they represented desires that had not previously surfaced. Subsequently, Naren began discussing sending increased remittances to Thailand, not solely to her parents, but to extended family members I had never encountered. "My cousin in Bangkok requires financial assistance for his enterprise. We must support our kin. My uncle is unwell and necessitates funds for medical treatment." I found myself writing cheques for thousands of dollars to support individuals I had never met for predicaments that seemed to arise with monthly regularity. When I suggested the necessity of budgeting these familial contributions, Naran would exhibit hurt and disappointment. "Austin, you've transformed. You once possessed a generous heart. Now, you fret excessively about monetary matters." I began to question if this was simply the predictable evolution of all Thai-American marriages. One evening, while assisting Naran's teenage son with his computer coursework, I inadvertently uncovered something that caused my stomach to clench. His Facebook account was still logged in, and I observed messages in Thai exchanged between him and his friends back in Thailand. I had a Thai acquaintance in Austin translate them for me. The messages boasted about their new life in America, the financial support their mother's American husband was providing to Thailand, and the ease with which they could obtain whatever they desired. "Simply inform Austin that grandmother has fallen ill once more. He invariably disperses funds whenever we mention someone's declining health." I felt as though I had been physically struck. These youngsters, whom I had grown to cherish and for whom I was funding American education, were revelling in the act of manipulating me. Yet the most devastating revelation was a message from Naran to her sister in Thailand. "Austin is a good man, but he's commencing to inquire too frequently about finances. I must exercise greater caution. Perhaps I should weep more when requesting assistance for family." My second Thai wife was skillfully manipulating my emotions to extract funds, precisely as my first had. The pattern was becoming undeniably apparent, and I was the sole individual unable to foresee its development. The ultimate offence occurred during our 4th year of marriage. I discovered that Naran had been remitting substantially more money to Thailand than she had disclosed to me. She had access to one of my business accounts for household expenditures. Throughout the preceding year, she had been initiating wire transfers to Thailand. Small sums, $500 or $800 at a time, but collectively accumulating to over $15,000. When I confronted her, she dissolved into tears. "Austin, I apologise. My family faces numerous difficulties. I know I worry you with every minor issue. I believed I could repay it before you would notice." "Repay it with what funds, Naran? You work part-time at a restaurant." "I will secure a second job. I will labour more diligently. I will repay everything." However, the damage was irreversible. Trust had been irrevocably shattered. I was confronting another Thai wife who had systematically misled me regarding financial matters. The crucial distinction was that this time I had detected it before the situation escalated to the same degree it had with Molly. I was faced with a choice: attempt to salvage this marriage or minimise my losses while the opportunity remained. Unlike with Molly, I still harboured affection for Naran. I recognised that her deception stemmed from a desperate desire to aid her family, not from avarice or malice. Yet, love alone was insufficient to surmount the fundamental issue. I sat down with Naran for the most arduous conversation of my existence. "I cannot repeat this experience. I cannot remain in a marriage where I am perpetually subjected to financial manipulation, even if the intentions are noble." She wept for hours. "I will reform, Austin. I will be entirely transparent about our finances, and I will never send money to Thailand without our prior discussion. Please, Austin, I love you. The children love you. We will become a better family. I promise." A part of me yearned to believe her, but I had heard similar assurances from Molly, and they had lasted approximately 6 months before the old patterns resurfaced. I resolved to terminate the marriage, but I approached it differently this time. I provided Nan and her children with $20,000 to facilitate their return to Thailand and to help them establish themselves. I purchased a modest home for them in Chiang Rai and initiated a small business for Nan to manage. I did not seek an immediate divorce. Instead, I informed her that if she could demonstrate over a period of 1 year her capacity for financial independence and honesty, we would attempt to reconcile. It was a trial that I hoped she would pass, though I anticipated her failure. For the initial few months following Nan's return to Thailand, our daily telephone conversations were emotionally charged and difficult. She would implore me to permit her return to America, vowing that circumstances would be different. However, as the months progressed, an interesting development occurred. Nan ceased her request to return and began to concentrate on building her life in Thailand. The small establishment I had assisted her in founding was flourishing. Her children were progressing well in Thai educational institutions. She was forwarding me photographs of their family life, which depicted genuine happiness. More importantly, she discontinued her requests for financial assistance from me. When her father fell ill and required hospitalisation, she managed the expenses utilising her own earnings and the support of her local family. For the first time in our relationship, Nan was demonstrating her ability to be both self-reliant and truthful. After 10 months, I journeyed to Thailand to visit them. What I discovered was unexpected. Nan had acquired greater strength and self-assurance. Her children were excelling academically and appeared more mature. The entire family had successfully adapted to a life independent of American financial aid. "Austin, I now comprehend your prior displeasure. I was weak in the past. I allowed my family's challenges to become your burdens. That was inequitable to you." For the first time in years, I harboured a sense of optimism that an honest relationship might be achievable. Naran and I remarried in Thailand after her year of demonstrated independence. However, this time we did so with explicitly defined understandings regarding finances, familial obligations, and mutual expectations. We mutually agreed to divide our time between Thailand and America, spending 6 months in each country annually. This arrangement allowed Nan to sustain her business interests and familial connections in Thailand while remaining an integral part of my life in Austin. The arrangement has proven more successful than I had anticipated. When we are in Thailand, I am a guest in her environment. When we are in America, she is my partner, not a dependent. Nan continues to support her family financially, but she does so with the earnings from her restaurant enterprise. In instances of genuine emergencies, we engage in open discussions and jointly determine the course of action. Her children are now in their early 20s, both employed and independent. They treat me with respect and genuine affection, not as a financial resource. I have finally discerned the distinction between a Thai wife who seeks a provider and one who desires a partner. Reflecting on 6 years of marriage to two different Thai women, the underlying patterns are now strikingly clear. Molly was a predator who viewed me as an easy target. She was beautiful, charismatic, and adept at emotional manipulation. She specifically targeted lonely Western men, systematically extracting as much money as possible before moving on to her next victim. Nan, on the other hand, was a genuine individual who became ensnared by the cultural expectation that Western husbands should resolve all financial predicaments for their Thai families. Her actions were not driven by malice, but rather by a lack of fortitude and a dishonesty regarding financial matters. The contrast between them has taught me that while not all Thai women are identical, the cultural and economic pressures are indeed real and must be addressed with candour. If I were to offer counsel to other Western men contemplating unions with Thai women, it would be this: exercise patience. Refrain from hasty marriages solely for visa acquisition. Dedicate a minimum of 1 year to truly get to know an individual before entering into legal commitments. Establish clear financial boundaries from the outset. Genuine affection will manifest as respect for your need to protect yourself financially. Pay close attention to actions rather than mere words. Molly articulated all the appropriate sentiments, yet her conduct ultimately betrayed her true intentions. Naran's experiences throughout her year of independence truly showcased her character. Crucially, she gained the ability to discern between genuine cultural differences and deliberate manipulation. Niron and I have been husband and wife again for 3 years now. We're currently penning this from our residence in Chiang Rai, where we're enjoying the dry season. While our union isn't without its imperfections, it is built on sincerity. We occasionally engage in discussions regarding finances, cultural disparities, and family responsibilities, but these conversations are conducted openly, and we work through issues via communication rather than through any form of manipulation. Nan's culinary ventures have expanded to encompass 3 distinct locations. She provides employment for 12 individuals and harbours a deep sense of pride in her accomplishments. Her financial dependence on me has ceased, which has consequently fortified our bond. When we are in Austin, Nan dedicates part of her time to a Thai cultural hub, where she conducts cooking workshops and assists newly arrived Thai immigrants in adapting to life in America. She has discovered a sense of purpose that extends beyond her marital role. We still partake in the nightlife scenes of Bangkok and Pattaya whenever we are in Thailand, but now Nan accompanies me, and she is afforded respect by the female staff because it is evident that she is not financially reliant on me. The paradox is that, now that I am in a relationship characterised by honesty, I appreciate Thailand more than I ever did when I was being deceived. The country itself remained unchanged. It was my perspective on relationships that underwent a transformation. Estimating the total amount I expended on both of my Thai spouses over a period of 6 years, it likely approximates $80,000. This is a substantial sum, yet it represents a mere fraction of the financial cost incurred during my American marital dissolutions. More significantly, the insights I gained into relationships, cultural nuances, and my own personal vulnerabilities were invaluable, far exceeding the monetary outlay. Molly imparted to me the understanding that allure and charisma, devoid of integrity, can be perilous. She also revealed my susceptibility to manipulation when I was feeling isolated and desperately craving affection. Nan demonstrated that even good-hearted individuals may make regrettable decisions when confronted with adversity. Furthermore, she taught me that genuine affection necessitates candour, even when such honesty proves challenging. Presently, I am not an embittered expatriate lamenting about Thai women or cautioning others against international unions. Instead, I am an individual who has learned to navigate relationships with greater astuteness, irrespective of nationality. The reality is that both admirable and questionable individuals can be found universally. The essential skill lies in recognising the distinction before formalising any commitments. Thailand will forever remain an integral part of my life. This is not due to an infatuation with its nightlife or an inability to connect with Western women, but rather because I have cultivated a genuine existence here with someone I trust implicitly. If you are contemplating a cross-cultural partnership, always remember that the heart perceives what it desires, but one's financial situation often reflects the actual circumstances. Exercise patience, safeguard your financial interests, and refrain from allowing solitude to compromise your judgment. Occasionally, the most cherished romantic narratives are those that narrowly averted unfavourable conclusions, such as the chronicle of my experiences with 2 Thai wives. If this account assists even a single person in sidestepping the errors I committed, or instills hope that authentic relationships are attainable, then sharing it has been worthwhile, despite any personal embarrassment. What has been your journey? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below, indicating your location. Your narratives are equally significant. Kindly remember, if this presentation has been beneficial or prompted a shift in your perspective on relationships, please click the subscribe button. We share authentic accounts from real individuals, and your encouragement enables us to continue delivering sincere content. Until our next encounter, remain astute, remain secure, and bear in mind that while affection is a beautiful sentiment, prudence is what preserves your well-being.